These are the enchanting twangs of a Mohan Veena, a comparatively recent additament to the field of Indian classical instrumental music. The inventor was the late Pandit Radhika Mohan Maitra, noted sarod maestro from the Amir Khani School of Music. Now, if we trace back in time to the origin of this instrument, we see that it has as its ancestor 5 traditional Indian classical musical instruments, and those are sarod, shurosringar, shur rabab, dhrupadi rabab, and veena. With the sole exception of sarod, all the 4 other instruments are on the way to extinction. These musical instruments, once used by Pandit Radhika Mohan Maitra, now possessed and preserved by Sri Somjit Dasgupta, one of his able disciples.
This particular instrument, if we go back to the origin of this style of instrumental playing, what we are just coming within, and this is the oldest instrument in the tradition we are talking about, and this instrument is called Indian Dhrupadi Rabab. Once upon a time, Indian Dhrupadi Rababs were called Rudra Veena also. When time passed, the nomenclature goes or transferred rather to the bean of nowadays, and this is, now we call it Indian Dhrupadi Rabab. And this instrument has got 6 strings, sometimes 4 strings are used also, and all are silk or gut strings. And we have a straight bridge here on the skin top, and the fingerboard is made of a piece of wood. In the later evolution, this will be replaced by a steel plate, and skin top will be there as is where is, and taraf strings or sympathetic strings were added later on. But in this instrument we go without taraf. But in another form of rabab, which is folk, Indian folk rabab we can call, that is that was played from Kashmir region to northern Indian part, and it was called Indian folk rabab, and in some opinion they call it Afghani rabab, and the same form in Kashmir and Punjab they call it Kashmiri rabab, and in South India it is called sarbat. This instrument was played in the late Mughal court by the late Ustad Basat Khan, the descendant of Mia Tansen. And obviously one thing we all musicians like to introduce ourselves with the senior tradition, but instead of that the whole thing was created in from an overall musical atmosphere in North India, with the nomadic Dhrupad singers and musicians and poets and lyricists roaming from one darbar to another darbar and one ashram to another ashram. And this particular instrument is of a bit smaller size. Bigger Indian Dhrupadi Rababs are available also, but in India now we find about 4 instruments only. One is in India Victoria and Albert Museum collection, and another is with Birendra Kishore Rai Chaudhury's collection, and the third is with Alauddin Khan Sahib's collection. So these are very few instruments, and this is the smaller version of used by nomadic Dhrupad singers, we must say, and they were the ashramites, not the Darbari musicians. The Darbari musicians used the bigger version, and this particular instrument was destined to late Mughal Darbar and played by late Basat Khan, and after the Sipahi mutiny it came to Kolkata, but before that the artist moved with his three sons. The elder was Ali Muhammad, that is Barku Mian, and the second son is Muhammad Ali, Chote Mian, and the youngest son is Riyasat Ali. With these three sons, Basat Khan moved to Lucknow Darbar of Nawab Wajid Ali Shah, and in 1856 the whole contingent of about 150 musicians, dancers and artists and the whole Darbar, and with his wives, concubines, everything, Nawab Wajid Ali Shah started moving towards Kolkata. After almost 10-month-old journey from Lucknow, he arrived in Kolkata and started living in Metia Buruj. Just before Sipahi mutiny, he settled in Metia Buruj with whole of his Darbar with a large amount of pension from the Britishers. So that's the history of coming of this instrument to Kolkata. And after that, after the demise of Wajid Ali Shah, the Britishers reduced the pension, so the old court couldn't keep the ustads, and then Muhammad Ali, Barku Mian and all these people and very old Basat Khan, they took refuge in some darbars in North Calcutta, and first of this kind was Sri Harendra Krishna Shil's house in Chitpur Road, and from there this particular instrument came to my Gurudev Sri Radhika Mohan Maitra's Guru Ustad Muhammad Amir Khan Sahib, and from Muhammad Amir Khan Sahib to Radhika Mohan Maitra, and now the instrument is played by myself, and in between Muhammad Ali's son Ustad Shaukat Ali also played this instrument, but previously I got it from my Guru Radhika Mohan Maitra. This is all about the history of this particular instrument.
Now, after going through the long history of this tiny instrument, we listen to Rag Kafi by Shyamjit Dasgupta. We have also heard about some other type of rabab, which is known as shur rabab. And Shumjit, will you please tell us something about that type of rabab?
This is another version of rabab which we play nowadays, but unfortunately this is the only one instrument. As I was telling that the Indian Drupadi rabab, we get about 4 or 5 instruments still prevailing, but the only one is played that I played before, but this is the only instrument living in of this kind, and it was made by the maker, ace maker Sri Gopal Sharma. His tag is there. The workshop was there in Chitpur Road, obviously the old hub of instrument making. And let's see about the origin of this instrument. This instrument was created in the workshop of the late Harendra Krishna Shil. He has got a large number of instrument makers and other craftsmen who continuously they used to do some sort of experiments on different instruments. So, the outcome of that experiment is this instrument, which is an amalgamation of Shur Sringar and Drupadi Rabab. So, the name was given like that, it is Shur Rabab. The instrument was created in the second decade of the last century, that means it is about 1911-12 to 1920. In those days it was created, this instrument, and this particular instrument was made by Gopal Sharma, as I told, and it was last repaired in 1941, that is also written here. And in this case the Drupadi Rabab, the bigger size, as I told that the Darwari big Drupadi Rabab, that size is just the wooden finger board is replaced by a steel one, steel made one. So, this is the only difference between a big Drupadi Rabab and a Shur Rabab. And in other case the number of string also increased a lot. In the other case we get about 6 strings, but in this case 9 to 10 strings used in the line of Shur Sringar. So, this is the brief history of the instrument, and we play this particular only one instrument left.
After this brief history of the instrument, let us now come to a recital in the rag Jhinjhoti.
you.